Come on, guys, you already know what it is. It is I, your host, Simon Mushore, and this is Vice Versa Live. And on today's show, I'm going to be discussing 3 things on feedback. Come on, guys, you already know. Let's go! So guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is I guess one of the first pieces of content on this side of the year 2023. It's nice to have you, and you are most welcome if it's the first time you listen to a piece of my content on this channel. If you haven't done so already, like, share and subscribe. Vice Versa Talent, and we're gonna get straight into it. Feedback is probably one of the biggest things that I get spoken to about when it comes to, job interviews, CVs, and so forth. And I know a lot of Gen Z people are very much interested in feedback and how about getting it and I guess using it. But I want to give three steps or 3 areas to which you can use as a guide to getting feedback, and I guess use it in a way that's going to benefit you and help you in your pursuits for either a new job or a new career or just better prospects. So let's get into it. So number one is accountability. Now, I find that a lot of people have this idea that recruiters or the company owes it to you for feedback. Now, let me be the first to tell you that they do not care about your growth. They do not care about that. What they care about is the purpose to which you went for that interview or the reason that you applied for that job. They only care about their own purpose, which is to fill the candidacy for that role. That's their job. If it comes to growth, which is why you want the feedback, that's your responsibility. So in order for you to take responsibility, you need to first take accountability. So it's on you to get your feedback. A lot of the time, there's too much of, I need to get feedback, and I never got feedback, and all this rubbish. At the end of the day, it's for you. You want to grow, you want to get that. It has to come from you. Oh my goodness, I need to go and get that. I need to go and get that. That information is key for me. So if it's key for you and you know that you need it, why are you waiting on someone else to get it for you? Makes no sense. It's like if you're hungry and you're starving and you're just waiting for someone to just give you food. This doesn't happen. If anything that you want in this world, you need to go and get it, because it's on you. It's your responsibility. It's your life. It's your growth. If you want to grow, you need to go and get it. So firstly, accountability. That's number 1. Is recognizing that my growth is my responsibility and I need to go and get it. It's not anyone else's. It's not the company's fault if I don't get it. It's not the recruiter's fault if I don't get it. It's my fault that I didn't get it. And that is number 1. That is the number 1 thing I want to share. Number 2 is figuring out what kind of questions or what areas do you feel that you want to improve on. Because what you don't want to do is just spam. You don't want to spam the recruiter, the person who owns the business, or the hiring manager. You don't want to just spam the person and give some sort of generic answer like, I want feedback. What generally happens is that you're going to get a spammed answer. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do is, once you're able to take accountability, and I would like to think you've done interviews before, but if you haven't done interviews before, you want to look at maybe in a kind of a few areas like tonality. You want to look at delivery, and you want to look at I guess kind of how you even answer the questions. So tonality, delivery, and how you answer the questions. Those are kind of areas just off my head that you want to kind of look at when asking a question, because once you start asking those kind of questions, it allows the person who either interviewed you or who's been in contact with you to be able to give you some sort of feedback on those areas to which you know, okay, I now have something that I can implement, adjust, or change. So those are the things that I would say. I would say that, you know, once you take accountability, then you're able to do the second part, which is to figure out what kind of questions you want to ask. Because once you're able to find out what the kind of questions you can ask, and then you take the action, which is actually reaching out to a person, which I'm gonna just touch on a little bit now. Once you're able to reach to that person, then the third point is implementation. But before we get to implementation, there's a little section there that I just want to talk about. So before you go to any interview, you want to know who you're talking to. I think that's very, very key, because there's too many people who don't actually know who they're talking to. So when you start to try and go get feedback, you're starting to go through the loop. So you're going to try and speak to the recruiter. The recruiter's now trying to chase the other business person. And if they don't know who was it that interviewed you, then it just becomes this long chain. So in accountability, so we'll go to the first bit again, you want to know who you're talking to. That is the number one thing, because once you know who you're talking to, you know who to go to for your feedback. Get it? Great. Moving on. Number 3 is implementation. Now, the implementation part will probably be the hardest part, because how do you implement the changes to the questions that you asked into what you're doing? Well, it's quite simple. You need to practice. You have to practice what it is that they've said, whether it's your tonality, whether it's how you deliver it, so that's your pace, and how you use your body language. And then there's how you even answer the questions. What are your answers? How do they respond to your answers? Once you're able to use that information, you want to able to start to like unpackage it. Like, okay, let me start practicing. You know, whether that's a friend, a family member, a mentor. You want to be able to practice interviewing, because the more you start practicing interviewing, the more you're able to kind of see almost real-time feedback in the interview. So, you know, if you know that you're maybe speaking too fast or you're speaking too loud, one thing that we as humans, we cannot do is our body language cannot lie. Like, have you ever been on a bus where someone's come on and they smell, or you've been on a bus and you see a foul smell? Like, it doesn't matter how, like, what the circumstance is, because obviously there are circumstances where there is a homeless person, or you know, someone's carrying some food or whatever, but people's face, just, you could tell people's face, they will just make a face. You'll see that the impressions on their face just change. And those kind of things and those subtleties, you want to be able to look out for when you're in an interview, because you're getting real-time feedback. And what separates the people who do great interviews and the people who don't do great interviews is the awareness to make the adjustments throughout the interview, just by getting real-time feedback right then and then, to which you then can implement. But that takes practice. That takes practice and practice and practice and practice. So those are my 3 areas. It's very, very simple. I don't want to overcomplicate it, because it can get quite complicated, but it is not complicated. This is very, very easy. You just need to take accountability. You need to take action in regards to finding out the questions that you want to ask. Really be specific. That's probably the third one, being specific. We need to be specific in what we're asking, and then once we go and ask, we then need to implement that. But that comes through practice. You need to practice and then make adjustments. Practice, make adjustments. Practice and make adjustments to you get to where you want to go. Get it? Come on, guys, let's go. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, I would kindly ask you to like, share, and subscribe to Vice Versa Talent. I'm going to be doing loads of different things this year. I'm going to be doing various different content, not just careers and things, because I feel like there is so much things to learn that's wider than just the things I talk about, that will actually help you in the process of you finding work or changing career. I hope you like my new setup. This is the new setup because I like to do something different, as well as, you know, messing around with like lighting and colors and so forth, because I like to be creative as well. So welcome to my channel, and I look forward to connecting with you guys soon. Do take care. Holla!